Whoa, live, cure, or die. That's the
There
name of
it
this
is.
podcast. So we came out with a line for the podcast.
There it is.
We came out with
this is the podcast line of stuff?
podcast line. Ooh.
Oh, this one? This
Who's
is
that?
good. So,
It's in my blood.
It's in his blood. Wayne, you probably don't know this. You probably don't watch them all. So we got this really expensive drone. I think it was about $130,000 drone. And so Thomas, a master of that thing, and he and Jay are boyfriends. And Jay's out there. He's like, hey, Jay, take it for a spin. And then Jay does and abruptly crashes it into a million pieces.
Immediately.
Instantly. And then, so destroys our brand new drone. We had to save up for because it was a lot of money. I think we were on a payment plan. And that he's like, I'm in the Air Force. It's in my blood. And I was getting a plane. He's like, I want to be your pilot. Send me to school to be a pilot. And I was like, thought you were in the Air Force. He's like, I built bombs, but I really should be a pilot. And he crashes the drone. And that's his thing. It's in my blood.
Yeah, we put out a podcast the day before where I said, I can fly, I'm a pilot, blah, blah, blah. And the next day we had the drone, and I smoked it.
So and this was another one.
Yeah, this is
The
another Jayism.
Mustangs of New Jersey. So can you see it? Is this the right? But
it's a little crooked, like
it's
tilted. Yeah. There you go.
Like
this. So I had heard this thing.
He tries to tell us on the podcast there's 80,000 wild horses in New Jersey, more than any other state in the union. And we're like, bullshit. So go ahead and tell your side.
Yeah, no, I had heard this. I misheard it, but I thought I had heard that one of the largest concentrations of wild horses was in New Jersey. So I confidently told everyone one of the highest concentrations of wild horses in New Jersey. And they're immediately were like, no, it's not.
This Reddit generation, they think everything they read in the first line of the internet's
well, so I brought it up and said, no, look, Mustangs in New Jersey, and started reading through it. And I was correct in the number, but that's just how many wild horses are in the country. There are wild horses in New Jersey, but they're in a holding cells, like government. They round them up and then ship them to New Jersey.
I have no idea where we were. And who cares, honestly? There's so much to go over.
All over the place.
Jay, what you got, man?
Well, I was curious about the origin of Trilog. And
I have this ready.
Yes. Because I've heard from a certain source, Kevin Brittingham, that it may not have been designed specifically for silencer use. It may have been for something else.
It was designed originally for muzzle-mounted devices, be it a sound suppressor or a flash hider. HK used to make a flash hider.
Yeah, it looks like the one back there, sort of on the G3.
Yeah.
And they also, because I was I just figured it was originally for the blank adapter. But
Again,
you guys always sold
any kind of muzzle-mounted device, including a blank firing adapter.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's cool.
But also quick attach, so you could
Right.
push it down, rotate it, you're good. Same thing to take it off.
Yeah.
Whereas threads, it's not so quick.
Yeah. That's true. It's true. Very true.
Is that the right way to do it, Kevin?
No. Well, I say no. Listen. So in holding that barrel, like the lugs are the diameter of the barrel, where the outside of the chamber and where you pin it in the front. So it's not really costing you anything to go larger than the barrel. So that's not bad, and that's a pretty big cut. So machining wise, design wise, not bad. I like that it's got a taper here, but depends on what you're trying to do. The things they were putting on at the time, I believe, they were probably thinking, like, whether it's the blank adapter or the flash hider, alignment's not a huge issue, but they do hold a very tight tolerance here.
Yeah.
For most companies doing this, not the right way to do it. And depends. Like, I don't like to push down and just locks into place stuff, because you end up with moving parts. You end up with a spring, things that get heavier, and you don't get quite the alignment that you can with other systems. And there were some systems where it was still a threaded piece, and you loosened it and it slides over, and you pull it forward and it tightened. It was threads, and it would hold it tight with this taper. That's a pretty smart way of doing it. But, excuse me, I don't think we would do this now.
Yeah.
But, like, I have questions too. Like the barrel, this is Parkerized, right?
Correct.
And this thing's got a fluted chamber, which we need to talk about. But, like, why is this painted?
Just to give it a little bit of protection from the elements.
Okay, so
I mean, as opposed to bare metal.
Okay, but I guess parkerizing too. They could have just parkerized the whole thing. It always seemed weird that because I think this is probably parkerized. I believe under that paint, but
it's funny you mentioned that. We talked about the MP5 earlier in terms of the different branches of the service that we made it for. There was one version of the MP5 and several other HK firearms that were specifically designed and named for the Navy. There was an MP5 Navy model.
Yep, the N, yeah.
The MP5N. One of the things that you can immediately notice on the N model is the threaded barrel.
Yep.
Another thing was the trigger group. That was something that was specific to the Navy. It was the non-burst ambidextrous trigger group.
Okay.
Safe, semi, and full auto.
Yeah.
Those were the characteristics of the MP5 Navy model. And again, some of the other firearms that were considered a Navy model, there you go.
Yes.
Were with a threaded barrel, like the P9S and so forth.
Yeah, as far as I knew, those were the differences. You get this. Oh, this trigger. Anyway. So the regular one, you would get this, we call it
The SEF.
The SEF pack. So I'm sure that means something in German.
S is Sicher, single fire. E is Einzelfire. And F is Firestoss.
So a bunch of German shooting here. So, but, this selector, this whole design was pretty cool because that comes right out.
Yep.
And then you can pull the whole trigger pack out and everything.
Yep.
That was cool, but non-ambidextrous. And this, both sides. And then this also has the, this became super trendy, and you weren't cool if you didn't have the bullet markings
the
on there.
pictogram markings.
Yeah,
So you know why we
pictogram.
did that?
Why?
Because of all of the different countries that MP5s were sold to.
Oh.
It makes way more sense than putting letters. Yeah.
Yeah. One bullet, many bullets.
Yeah. So that was cool, and that's a little more difficult because you got to get the selector apart to take it out. But it was way better than that 3-shot burst pack. Trying to be an armorer for that.
The other neat thing that a lot of people don't necessarily realize about this is there was a little part that went into the bottom of here.
Oh, yeah.
That held when you had a suppressor on the gun. There was a thread cap that all of the MP5Ns were shipped with.
Yeah.
So that the threads wouldn't get damaged if you weren't using a suppressor on
So
it.
that's why the cap is in there.
That's what the cap is for.
I didn't know that.
To hold a thread protector.
I just figured there was some goofy cleaning kit thing that went in there. So, yeah, well, that makes sense.
It's funny you say that. There was a cleaning kit that actually went into the pistol grip of some of the 7.62 and 5.56 guns. The Germans used to use this special pull-through cleaning kit that was small. It used
it had the chain link thing.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so I do have some of that.
Yep.
Yeah. And they would otherwise come in the little green curved little plastic
the ones that
boxes.
fit inside of a case.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna see if I can get this back together, Jay.
Start off. There you go.
HK armor.
There you go.
1997, class of 97 right here. Bam. Yeah, so that's cool stuff. Yeah, that's the Navy one, but you're right. The threaded barrel. Oh, back in the day when you could, for $3,000, you could buy a transferable MP5 that was converted from an HK94. If you found a Navy barrel with a thread section on there, premium. That would have brought like $400.
And HK kind of crossed into territory that nobody else that I'm aware of was in with the firing modes. We had a single fire MP5. We had a 0.12.
Oh yeah, you guys did have
we
one
had
that
a
was
0.13, and then we had, of course, the Navy, and then we had 0.12 in full, 0.13 in full. The only trigger group that we never had was safe, semi, 2-shot burst, 3-round burst, and full auto.
Oh, that's right. There were 2-round burst trigger packs.
Absolutely.
Right.
We developed that for the 10 millimeter and the 40 caliber.
Because I was going to say, my 40 or 10 millimeter, one of those might be 2-shot and one's 3-shot.
Yeah, because they did a study and that third round was useless anyway.
Shooting a baby in the background.
Yeah.
So, 0.120. So
you
can tell, too, Jay, it's got 2 holes. So which one's this for?
The fixed stock. Is it A1?
No.
No, this
caliber.
This just tells you it's a 308.
Oh, okay.
It's got 2 pins. It's a 308.
Oh yeah, we talked about that with the stock.
And then 20 rounds, that tells you G3 mags are 20 rounds.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what we were looking at the stock.
Oh, look at this. I didn't even realize this was in here.
There we go.
Oh.
Where am I glad? Oh, look at this.
Trilog muzzle device.
Oh, yeah. So this is not...
Pretty cool.
Yeah, but it's got like parts and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm not so much worried about alignment with a flash hider.
No, or me getting this thing on there right. What the heck? Oh, you know what? Is this for... This might be for 10 millimeter or something. Oh, no. Look at... Well, I can't tell.
No.
Can you tell that? That says B&T on the bottom, so it's a B&T something. That's not
So it's
even
really,
HK
it's just really
product.
expensive
It's
and not worth it.
Yeah, it's
This is an
fake
aftermarket. Yeah, it's not HK.
Yeah, okay. So
Because HK actually made those.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was in here, but it is not. It's a B&T.
Booger and thumbtack.
Yeah.
Well, this is cool too, like the original.
that
Slimline
one's
4.
cool.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's metal with some kind of plastic or epoxy over it.
That was the original handguard for the MP5.
I've only
Yeah.
seen photos of
Yeah,
it.
before we went to the wide form, you see there.
Yeah.
Why don't you let our kid touch it?
Yeah, I've only seen photos of that.
And then the wide one,
Yeah.
which is cool because it stays cooling off. You're out there ripping off all kinds of rounds.
Yeah. I mean, this gave you a little bit better heat protection if you shot too many rounds.
It's
Also,
comfortable though.
it was.
This.
It was.
Yeah, this one I'm from 4 Melior with.
Oh yeah.
Oh, look, I still have this. You know, I'm not sure, but I think these are. This is cool because look, it's the way HK when you ordered this stuff, it would come.
Oh my goodness.
So it's like just a Ziploc bag, and they would magic marker the part number they would put in there. And this is when you guys went from Benelli to Fab Arms shotguns.
Yeah.
You know what I think these are, Jay? I think these are like $1 million bills in here.
Probably.
I probably have never opened this, honestly.
It still had the wax paper on.
You know what that is? I know what it is.
I don't.
This is P7 M13 mags.
That's what it looks like. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
German.
Wow.
Look at that. Oh, I'm sure no one else made
And
these
those
things.
were like platinum back during '94 when we had the crime bill.
The band, yeah.
Because we stopped producing the P13 at that time.
All right, so you guys just forget I have these with your sticky fingers.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Oh, here's some more. Heckler & Koch Defense Inc. Rear sight complete MP7 made in Germany. Quantity 1.
Oh yeah.
Just in case you blow this off.
Yeah, because
Exactly.
you never know. That's some recoil. I mean, we got a 26 grain bullet coming out of there to about 8,000 feet a second. Oh, look at this. This is probably, I don't know who would have sent me this, y'all, or John Clements. That has got to be, that's
It's a butt pad.
for the MP7, isn't it? Or is that, so I don't even know what that is
Look
now.
like it.
No, it looks very
It'd
I
different.
don't think so.
thicker.
It appears to be for one of the roller lock bolt guns. If you look at these other parts in there.
So this is the rarest thing H&K ever made. So if anybody wants to buy it, just hit me, slide them DMs.
Yeah, I don't know what the rubber part is. I mean, it appears to be a butt pad, but
Ooh, universal
USP.
service pistol.
Ooh.
Oh, this is the old pre or post band, the 15 rounder.
oh, wow.
Not that bullshit 10 rounds. Oh,
That's a
speaking
10
of bullshit 10 round.
Yeah.
Oh, that was so horrible. So yeah, 10 rounder for the metal mag. Why'd they go with the metal mag on those guns? Do you know, as opposed to the polymer?
To prevent from having to increase the size of the grip.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a mistake in the Glock currently. I think they should go to steel mag so you could get more rounds.
I think Shield
Well, they-
Arms does it.
They get more rounds anyway with the polymer mag. I mean, Glock, to be honest with you, they did it better than HK.
They did with the
Oh, yeah.
polymer mags.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, because it's steel lined, isn't it? The
top part.
mags. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, originally Glock, like the first generation, it's just like the feed lips, and then it's like the front, and there's several generations, but not the whole thing.
Right.
But they just take all the room they take putting polymer on there. If they just did steel, you could get, and didn't do polymer, you could get more rounds in there. But you're right. I mean, but what you're saying is they had smaller mags that held just as many rounds.
They did a better job, I think, with their magazines than we did.
And this, oh yeah, so this is a PSP mag. So the European mag release, the deal is there, and on the U.S. ones, there's something here, isn't there? A catch here?
Correct. Yeah, for the paddle release.
So much neat little things.
You speaking of the USP, we started to talk about it, and then we said we'll save it for here.
Oh yeah.
But when we were looking through this book, you brought up that the USP was an HK USA, or it wasn't specifically HK USA, but it was a derivative, or it came from the Mark 23.
There was parallel development between the Mark 23 and the USP design, which was originally 40 cal. It was the first prototype of the USP was designed in 40 caliber. Ugh. That way, we made it easy to do a 9mm.
That's smart.
Yeah. Everybody else did it the other way around.
No, from an engineering standpoint, that's smart.
Absolutely.
I mean, they should have all made their 45 guns 40 probably, but they wanted them small. Because, I don't know with the USP, but doing it that way, the USP 40 probably lasts a long time. But like a Glock 22 compared to a 17?
Agree.
I mean, it's got a quarter of the lifespan.
Yeah. I've been in many government tests where I was competing against Glock, and their 40 cal or their heavier caliber pistols, other than 9mm, never did as well as 9.
Yeah, they did really well with that gun.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So,
but to answer your question,
yeah.
the USP was the first HK pistol designed specifically from input from the U.S. market.
Damn.
So was it? I always assumed it was designed like everything else for like the German police. Was it just the USP designed for the U.S. market?
That was the genesis of the USP design. There was a joke that many of the Germans told me that said USP actually stands for United States Pistol.
So they didn't like it because it was an idea from America.
Well, it depends on who over there you talk to. Because a lot of those guys realize, you guys are the biggest market in the world. We need to have your input. Yeah. Not everybody over there felt that way. That's cool.
You ever seen this? The cloner's dream right here.
I've not.
So Knights has that great vertical grip. Advanced Armament did one. H&K, typical H&K. So this is not all plastic.
No.
You have an aluminum piece here that locks into the rail.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure if I had my glasses on, I could see it's got some HK mark on it. I think right here that makes this thing worth $1,027.
Yeah.
Look at that. It's like I've probably thrown these away before.
I bet it's so I know the Knights one is.
You let him hold that so he get excited.
The Knights one's like $90. So this has got to be what, $120 or something.
I don't know what HK would charge, but I'm sure it was double. But
this one's thicker. I like that.
But
well, that's German plastic.
Yeah, German plastic.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So here's the 40.
There it is.
The 40 cal 10mm. I don't know what gen magazine is this. Can you remember?
That's the current. What the funny thing is, internally, MP7 was an internal designation. Once we finally released it to the market, it started out as A1, which didn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
We never released a previous version of the MP7.
Yeah.
It's like the MR556. That initially went to the market as A1. I'm like, okay, why are you calling it A1 if there's no pre-A1?
Predecessor, yeah.
All that stuff is, what was the gun earlier I was thinking about? It's an M something. The M.
1911?
No, what's the Marine Corps gun we're talking about?
M27 IAR.
So why is it the M27 if it's the Marine Corps? Was that adopted by the Army or something? Don't they use M and the Navy, and so the Marines use... Well, no, I guess it's the M40. So just the Navy uses Mark?
Navy uses Mark.
Yeah.
Correct.
I get so confused with all the military
it doesn't make sense
branches.
Because the Marines are Department of the Navy, so it should be, yeah.
Correct. That's why it came to my mind earlier, because they use... And then this is an A1, but the Navy always uses Mod O, Mod 1, and the Army uses A whatever, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
And they screwing it all up. It's hard. I can't remember any of these acronyms. That's why I named the Honey Badger the Honey Badger. I couldn't remember what they were calling our own gun. I'm like, man, everything, you guys stop. Because it's like, I go into meetings with them and everything's a fucking acronym. And I'm like, I don't even understand what y'all are saying.
Yeah.
Like we're doing the JDP over on range, 256, and I'm just like, what does that mean?
Yeah, because the Army they were doing block for a while too, like when the SOCOM like overhaul package came out. So you got like block 1, block 2, block 3, whatever.
I don't ever pay attention to anything.
And then the Navy's mod, it's great.
Yeah, like Mark 19, Mark 3.
Right. Yeah.
Because John Clements actually named the 300 blackout gun, like the Honey Badger, the MPW for multi-purpose weapon, and it was actually the predecessor to the Honey Badger, and so then it was another acronym with something else for the Honey Badger, and I'm just like, I couldn't even honestly remember the name to our own gun, so I
Yeah.
just make up nicknames for everything.
Yeah, it's crazy because like the same gun. So like the Mark 18. Mark 18 is Mark 18 for one branch, but it's the CQBR like mod whatever for another branch.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Oh, see, because they even get Mark 18 and Mark 12 confused all the time.
Yeah.
Mark 12 is a cooler one.
Yeah, the Mark 18. But the Mark 18 was cool because that's what started,
Short
like the
barrel.
Navy starts using those short barrels again.
Correct.
And then you get the 416.
Yeah.
With that, I guess we're going to skip all over the place. How many like 416s did you sell domestically? Like not, well, I mean, I guess it
Well,
wouldn't matter.
none commercially.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, but to police departments buy them, federal agencies and stuff.
Police departments did not buy as many as the military during my tenure at HK.
Yeah.
Because the military realized, I mean, it was much more specific. That was how it began life with special operations.
Yeah.
Law enforcement agencies never had the requirements that those guys had. So
Yeah, we
for
have
them
this
to look
ammo,
at
we
a
want this barrel.
$1,600 AR platform versus when you look at bottom of the barrel on Smith or
Right.
I don't know where you could buy one for $500, it was a no-brainer.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Yeah.
the budget was probably the big thing.
Exactly.
Historically, not
Yeah.
the highest spenders.
And yeah, they're not going to go do a real reliability test where your
No.
SOCOM customers bring you there and embarrass you if your gun's not
Exactly.
working.
Yeah,
Well, I mean,
yeah.
think about the average police officer probably shoots 100 rounds a year.
If that.
Yeah.
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 So the requirements were completely different,
Yeah. Oh. So what were all the differences? Okay, so those are all made in Germany, correct? And
Correct.
imported over.
MR 556s, yes. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
no,
I'm
the
sorry.
416.
416s.
And the 417s. But the MR, what on the MR series, whether 762 or 556, were made in Germany?
All of the bolt parts
Yeah.
were made in Germany. The handguards came from Germany. Essentially, all of the parts, with the exception of the barrel and the lower receiver, all of the individual parts came from Germany.
Oh, really? So the barrel and lower receiver. So the upper receiver is a German upper receiver.
The upper receiver came from Germany because it was the same as
Why didn't they put German barrels on them?
they couldn't. The barrels had to be produced in the U.S. for an ATF requirement.
Oh,
So we brought in the barrel
course.
blanks, which was just
Oh.
a standard. It had the chamber
okay.
and the bore.
It's a hammer forged barrel.
It was a hammer forged barrel.
So
those
and
barrels
HK
were
does
fixed.
the. Sorry.
That's okay.
Go ahead. What you say?
No, the barrel was finished in the U.S. by
Okay.
Daniel Defense at the time.
But they're hammer forged with the chamber and the rifling at the same time.
That was the standard barrel production.
It's the way to do
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
I don't know. People here just are idiots. They should do that because that chamber concentricity to the bore. Woo, that's why
And
you're shooting those little groups
Oh,
at
yeah.
600.
And I'm sure you know that a lot of companies, they may forge the bore,
Yeah.
but then
Right.
they ream the chamber or they
Yeah,
drill the chamber.
yeah,
But
they
when you
cut.
do it all at one time, the strength of that barrel is exceptional.
And yeah, because the mandrel have the chamber and the rifling
It has
on it.
everything.
So then everything is absolutely concentric. To
Correct.
where if you cut them, there's always a tolerance. And the chamber's a little off, and those
Correct.
barrels never shoot as well. So when people hammer forge and then they cut the chambers, I think they're morons. I don't even get it. I have no idea why.
Someone here does that. Not here
Is
at this
that
table,
Sig
but
does that? That's so
at least they were when I was there.
so dumb.
They hammer forge the blanks and then they turn them down and
But because
put
it's
chamber in 'em.
yeah, because it's consistency. Like you can get somebody like if you get someone who a machinist that's doing that and he's particular about everything and he can get close a lot. Maybe a lot of his barrels shoot really good. You get some other yahoo that's just going to hit the tolerance and. So when you're cutting the chambers as opposed to doing it all in one thing, you might get some barrels that shoot great. And oh, my gun shoots great. You're stupid.
Right.
But you lay 100 of them out and go shoot. It ain't going to be the same as if they're all forged in.
And that's the thing that I think people don't necessarily understand when you're manufacturing on that scale. When something goes wrong, all those machines, most of those machines don't just have one part in them. So when something goes wrong, it goes wrong quick and it goes wrong a lot.
Sure.
And it's hard. Sometimes it's hard to catch all of those too.
Yeah, I think, we're even at the size now, as small as we are, to where it's much cheaper for me to spend more on the proper process and doing it up front than it is to get guns back or have to replace 1,000 of something.
Sure.
And when you're a small business, it's hard to see that. But once it gets into like tens of millions of dollars, you know, like you got $1 million in barrels sitting on the shelf that you're, building guns with. And if all those are screwed, it's just cheaper to spend the extra $12 on the barrel and do it right the first time.
And you don't want to necessarily have those barrels out there, but, some companies look at it from a standpoint of, okay, there is a market somewhere for these barrels, people that don't necessarily need this higher standard,
Yeah, I think it's just, I always talk about it, Knights and H&K. It's like, that's who I'm trying to be. Like, I ain't trying to be Daniel Defense or Smith & Wesson. Like, I just don't have any interest in that. And, you got to pay to play.
Sure,
that's what you realize. And
it's
so, especially for us, we think about right now, we just had a little plunger, an issue with the plunger for the takedown pins in our gas guns. So the Sugar Weasel and the Honey Badger. And so I got, I don't know, probably $1 million, $2 million worth of guns sitting there waiting on a 6-cent part.
Wow.
But it's like, well, we're not going to send it out with this like bullshit plunger. Sure. We got to get the right thing.
Yeah.
And
we went through that issue with the mag catch too for a while.
Yeah.
And that was like, it, like you said, it stops guns from being shipped. So.
And it costs millions.
Right. And then you get 5 people putting their energy into that and saying, we need to get it taken care of ASAP. So they're not working on designing a new gun or whatever.
It is so funny to me when people, because, you see it all the time. The internet just breeds the know-it-all hater morons. And, the Honey Badger is just, or the Fix, that's just for people that want to flex on IG and think they're cool. They charge $3,000 for an AR. It's like, we have about 3 parts that are interchangeable with an AR now at this point. And, the problem is, I talked about on previous podcasts, Wayne, when you were a kid too and like going to work at H&K, what's there, like 3 people in America making bolts and bolt carriers and they're all mil spec?
Exactly.
And I think we took that for granted when you and I were young. Now it's like every asshole in the machine shop, makes a bolt. It works in most guns. It's that mentality. It's like, well, okay, so that you just can't do that anymore because mil specs, it doesn't mean anything anymore because they all lie about it. It's bullshit.
Yeah.
And so that's where now, whether it's the Honey Badger, and there's basically, like, we're not even using the mag catch anymore. We're doing our own mag catch. And that costs, I buy a mil spec mag catch, and now it's like half of them are good, half of them aren't. But it's like, that's probably a $4 part. Well, for me to make my own mag catch is like $27.
Sure.
But it's correct. And so a customer never has a problem. We don't fail them in QC. I don't have our assembly people putting them together, then QC checking them, and then them having to take them apart and go find another one. These are the things that you pay for.
Sure.
And I realize now, when I was a kid, I thought, man, HK is awesome, but geez, I got to make a lot of money. It's so expensive. As you get older and you do this, or you own a company that you're aspiring to be like that, you understand why HK is always more expensive.
Yeah, I had that conversation with people for the longest time. I even talked to people at other companies, whether it be at Smith or Ruger, wherever, and we were talking about manufacturing in general. And I was amazed by some of the stuff that I heard. Like, not every company test fires their guns, 100% of their guns.
You know what's so crazy? Like, you say that, I got a DM this week, and a guy wanted to return his gun. He bought it was one of the gas guns, a Honey Badger probably, and it was dirty when he got it, and he's afraid that the shop opened it before him and shot it, and he wants to return it and us to inspect it and clean it and return it to him, or he wants a different gun. And he's like, it's ridiculous for a gun to show up dirty. And it's like, well, can you send me a picture of it? And it's like, the gun's been test fired. And it was shocking to him that we fire every gun. It's just like, there's so many new people into guns. It's like, of course we fire every gun.
Yeah.
Like, every gun gets test fired. And all those gas guns get shot with super and subsonic ammo. Like, we test fire our stuff. Yeah.
Well, not just test fire, but every single gun coming off of the HK factory, at least when I was there, had one complete magazine test fired through it and 2 proof rounds. Every single gun.
Oof.
There's a reason they shot 2 proof rounds, in case the first one did any damage. There was a method to their madness.
I mean, that alone, what you just said, adds $100 to cost of your gun.
Right.
Basically.
Yeah.
I mean, because we don't shoot proof rounds in every gun, but we shoot proof rounds in, selected lots of barrels or whatever it is. But every gun gets fired. We don't fire a full magazine.
I
don't know when the gas gun's what we fire now. We probably fire 10 rounds. I don't know.
I think it's 10.
Yeah,
and they alternate.
Super and sub, and we shoot, because our stuff's designed to be shot with a silencer.
Sure.
So we shoot them with a silencer. So then, too, the muzzle device gets a little dirty, but, I mean, they clean them after, but it's like you could still tell the gun's been fired.
Yeah.
Well, even down to people will email about, they're like, I can tell my stock was like actuated or put in and out, and it's like
you had like witness marks on it or something.
Just like it you can tell it rubbed or something. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it's like, well, our guys shot them all. Like, well, why did they need to touch the stock?
Well, we also QC the stocks to make sure it locks up. Like,
right.
And then too, with us just clear anodizing and the receivers being light, every little piece of carbon stands out on it to where if the receivers are black, like all your guns are testified, if it's Colt or HK or whoever, you just don't necessarily see it because they're black.
Yeah.
It is interesting, the commercial. It had to be frustrating at H&K because, like, you're either dealing with, SEAL Team 6 or you're dealing with, Richard the insurance guy that starches his shirts and drives a Ferrari and wants to show off to all his friends. Yeah. This has a scratch on it. Well, I've had somebody want me to. They wanted to buy a gun that we did not test fire, that was never been shot.
No.
I was like, yeah. Well, blah, blah, blah. I don't know what he said. He probably said he'd pay a premium or something. I was like, have liability insurance, asshole. Like, this isn't for you to, show off to your other rich friends.
Yeah.
Like, we build tools.
Yeah. Well, one thing that's not even necessarily the podcast to talk about it, but we get emailed recently. We've got a bunch of people being like, hey, I'm shooting subs and my gun's not cycling. And Jenna will go, are you shooting out of the can? I go, no. Like, so why are you doing that? Why are people shooting subsonic rounds with no can and it's not cycling? Why are you shooting a subsonic round with no can?
And, and we also have an adjustable gas block.
Yeah, exactly.
If that's what you want to do, well, it should operate from the factory.
It does, subs and supers, and we shoot them all with a can.
So either shoot supers or put a silencer on it, or open the gas block where you can be ridiculous and shoot subsonic ammo without a silencer.
I just don't understand that. People spend money on subsonic ammo to shoot it with no can.
Well, I remember years ago, there were people that were shooting, police departments, that were shooting subsonic ammunition through MP5 SDs and claiming that there was an issue with the lethality.
Oh,
you're absolutely right.
We talked in the last podcast about it, how it's developed. There was 124 and 115 grain ammo, where I keep talking about that brochure that I've got somewhere that I'll find on our next podcast, where it talks about like 170 or 80 grain 9mm ammo. It's because the barrel wasn't going to be ported.
Yeah. So it's reducing the velocity about 200 feet per second.
Yeah. So, I mean, it is one of those things. If you're shooting a borderline, like something's just going supersonic, you shoot through that gun, it's like shooting someone with a 380. It was part of the reason to develop the Honey Badger was, there it is like 60 years later. But it's like, well, at the time and when they developed it, but the gun weighs 8 or 8.5 pounds and it's a 9mm. If you're shooting 115, 124 grain ammo, you're really just shooting a heavy 380 at somebody. So if somebody's got heavy winter clothing on, you're shooting them at 70 meters. Yeah, it ain't like shooting them with a rifle, my man. That was it's amazing. Like, that gun is still so iconic, but we tried to get with the Honey Badger down to 1 MOA at 100 with subsonic, and we failed. We didn't get there, but part of that was the projectile that SOCOM purchased.
Sure.
But the guns still shoot great. Like, I bet every Honey Badger with decent subsonic ammo is under 2 MOA. And I would love for it to be better, but it's like, hey, the whole goal was to replace the MP5 SD that shoots like 6 to 9 MOA.
Exactly.
I'm pretty sure the M4 standard is 4.
4.
You're right. You're right.
People forget that. People are like, why is my gun not shooting sub MOA? I'm like, do you know what you're holding, sir? Like,
yeah, that's dealing with the military. What was more what was more difficult to deal with when you're the president of H&K, the military or a commercial customer?
Commercial by far. Yeah. But I took pride in that. I mean, there were many times where commercial customers would escalate an issue, go to the manager of the repair department or manager of commercial customer service, rather.
Yeah.
And I took pride in that. I was like, give me the guy's number. I'll call him. So I would call him, and the guy would be like, so what do you do at HK? I'm the president. And I'm like, tell me what your problem is. I want to solve it. He'd be like, are you for real? I'm like, yeah, tell me what's going on.
That's cool.
But I took pride in that. I wanted to get involved and make sure that they knew that we took them seriously. Everybody, no matter where they worked, who they were.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm a bit more of an asshole. Well, I appreciate all the customers, but it is amazing. And I don't know if it's just like raising or the internet or Amazon, like what causes some of the attitude. But I've called customers before when they're having a problem. And generally they can be like cursing at the customer service person. And I'll call, and it's easy to settle it. It's like, hey, what can I do for you? But it's also like, I will fire your ass as a customer.
Yeah,
like, if you want to be unreasonable, like, we'll do anything that's reasonable to satisfy. But, you get those customers you can't kind of satisfy no matter what.
Absolutely. I've been there too, but you always want to protect your guys if they're, breaching the company line. I'm like, okay, I don't want them cursing at you. If they're going to curse somebody, curse at the top of the line. I'm happy to talk to them.
That's
they didn't have the same attitude with me that they did with somebody else, but I'm like, dude, you made it to the top of the hill, so what's your beef?
Yeah. Well, I find too that it's the majority of our customer service is done by a lady at our place, and generally a different attitude, unfortunately, when they deal with a woman in that position than a man.
Oh, yeah.
I think it is.
I think so too. Once they find out that it is.
Yeah, I mean, we've got. Well, I mean, as far as executive level at our company, half the company's female.
Really?
Yeah, and they run a lot of our company, a lot of my life, and so it's funny when they, it'll be a problem at that level. Or not even a problem, but I remember recently we're purchasing a new ERP system.
Yep.
And it's like old school, like, this old white man that thinks apparently women should be secretaries. Like, he was refusing to kind of deal with them once it came to the purchase, and when he started to deal with them, wanted to speak to the man who was approving the purchase. And we're talking about our general counsel is a woman, and the head of finance is a woman,
director of compliance.
Yeah, it's like all these key positions, and it's like, you idiot, like, why would you talk to women that way? So I see that too.
Well, it would be great if he talked to a guy and she said, I'm sorry, well, maybe you should talk to my boss.
It's a woman.
Exactly.
I know, because I was like, after the third call they had and decided this was the company they wanted to go with, and they were telling me, they're just venting to me, and they're like, we're going to, like, give him a piece of our mind. I was like, let me just talk to him. They're like, oh, hell no. Because I would have been like, screw you moron. Yeah. And they're like, no, this is the ERP system we want. We're just going to like go above him and deal with someone else. But it was crazy to me that you get that today still from people. It is.
But my philosophy was always, I want to turn this guy around. I mean, obviously the fact that he made it to my level, he was pissed off with HK. But when he got to me and I actually handled it, or at least listened to the guy at my level, maybe that changed his mind.
Yeah, I think that was effective. I did a lot of that at AAC. I think now, I don't know if I take it for granted. I just don't have the time and don't want to engage everyone, because I'm just of the mindset now. There's stuff that I want to accomplish in the company. I think I realize like I'm getting old, and Ethan's even getting older, and there are product things that I want us to accomplish. To me, you always have to prioritize your life and with the company and all those things. And there's just... I used to really want to make everyone happy at Advanced Armament, my old company. And now I just realize we only need a few % of the people to be our customers.
Yeah.
And no matter how many people get frustrated or vent online or something, doesn't affect our sales demand if we're creating the best stuff. And I just had to prioritize in my mind, like, I want our company to grow and be successful and outlive me and, leave some sort of legacy, for me and everybody that's working there on our team. but like I just kind of now try to stay hyper focused on the product, and we only have so many more years that we're going to work. So how many more projects can we do? And that's more important to me. And maybe that's a little more of a Reed Knight philosophy. I don't know, but that's how I feel at the moment. You know, when I was young, I thought, I got to take care of everyone. It's going to be 100 years and, I'll be doing this. And you get older, you think, ooh, tick-tock, I don't have that much time. And, you start trusting and just disseminating a lot of that stuff.
Well, I kind of realized it was almost impossible to satisfy everybody to their level of satisfaction, no matter how good you treat them. I realized that wasn't possible when I had kids.
You had kids? Kids too? Oh, boy, that's a reality check, isn't it? Woo! Oh, you imagine having a little Jay and Thomas? Oh, my goodness. You too.
Yeah, you
I know, I kind of do, don't I? I know. I raised my kids, now I adopted you too. It's all right, though. They're old enough to hit.
Yeah, that's true.
What else you got in your little notes over there, Jay? Let's stump Wayne on something.
The old Bud Feeney brochure.
Ooh, I remember that.
Yeah. So I couldn't find it. I looked for it this morning. I'm sure we'll post a picture now. I think we have before, actually.
It's very easy to Google.
Was that the HK45 on the cover? It was SHOT Show. The catalog HK was handing out. Larry Vickers had retired.
No, that was a P30.
P30, okay.
That was a P30, and that was about the time that HK split into two separate companies. I think it was about 2003 when HK Defense was formed, and the commercial side of the business was handled. They were both handled by two separate entities, two separate levels of management, and you had people on the commercial side that simply didn't know the product very well, as you could tell,
or at all.
The way that magazine was
which is funny because Bud Feeney was in charge of that, who worked with it, SIG, who's a great guy. I love Bud Feeney a ton.
Yes.
But it's weird. It's like Bud Feeney is a gun dude. Correct. Like he's a world class shotgun shooter. Like he is no rookie. And they published and printed thousands of catalogs where the ammo is in the magazine backwards.
And it's front and center.
Yeah. It's not for the P30. What's funnier to me is like I knew Larry from the Army. And he was in an HK shirt and the whole uniform at SHOT Show. And I walk in there, and he's the one that handed me the catalog and was basically like, look at this fucking shit. Yeah, that's the one I still have.
We showed up at SHOT Show with those magazines.
That's where I got it. Yeah, they were in the thing giving them out, and Larry handed me that one's like.
Well, I'm going to leave his name out of it, but there was a guy that was in charge of the commercial side of the business at the time who apparently didn't QC the magazine for his side of the business. I mean, if that was a defense magazine, you knew Jim and I would have been all over that. But
yeah, it wouldn't have happened. Yeah, that was pretty funny. That's like a pretty famous one with HK.
Oh,
I was just thinking of like who the person that it's probably some kid that loaded the mag.
Some photographer that's anti-gun.
Oh, I figured it was just someone who was young and mag had been yelled at for something earlier in the day and was like, I'm not going to ask about this because hey, where does this go? And then get yelled at against. They're probably just like, I think it goes this way.
But how many sets of eyes looked at that before they realized that was wrong?
That's the thing.
One too few.
Yeah.
True.
But that's the thing.
If you guys did that, you talk about third strike, Thomas. Whoo! Oh, I'd be hot.
You see, it's hard. That's why you need so many pairs of eyes because you see something, the same thing so many times a day.
Well, those eyes
You're right about that.
Those eyes used to be me and Jim's. We would look at almost everything, even the commercial stuff.
It was just one thing, really, back in the day. There was commercial, but it was really all the military
stuff. When it was one company and we shared a lot of product on the defense side and commercial side, Jim and I would look at everything because even the guys on the commercial side, they just didn't have the experience that Jim and I did to look at things like that.
And Jim was just, he was so into it.
Oh, my goodness, yeah.
Yeah, to a ridiculous degree.
But, I mean, it's even down to details that aren't necessarily like that's a function thing. But, like, I think we all see it. Like if we see a photo with an AR and the dust cover's open, it makes me want to throw up. Like just little things, or like, hey, your safety's off, or what? Just like random little things. Yeah, we know. Okay, in the photo it's fine, but
both of those things drive me crazy.
Yeah.
Well, I'll see. Like we have this rack. It'll hold 200 rifles when they're in process at work, and they're basically parallel with the ground. And when there's fixes on there, So with the fixed rifle, the butt pad, you could put on either way.
Yeah.
There's a cue on the back, and it goes on one way. And I'll walk past probably half a dozen times in the last 3 or 4 years. I'll just walk past that rack. Like you and I could be doing a tour. I'll walk past it, and I will see the one where somebody put up back. I'm like, how are you guys doing this? Like, I was talking to him and fucking saw it. How do you not see that that's upside down?
Yeah.
Like, it drives me insane.
Because
All of that stuff.
Because just in that day, they saw 200 of them.
All right, watching a movie on their phone while they're putting shit together.
I don't know, maybe.
I mean, if I were doing it, they'd half of them would be upside down.
Yeah.
And early in my time at HK, when I first started, we didn't have cell phones. We didn't have internet.
Yeah.
Everybody's job was to stand in front of whether it was a production line or whatever it was, and do their job. They just didn't have all these extra distractions. Again, cell phones, whatever,
Yeah. It is interesting. I mean, the attention to detail, though.
Yeah.
I mean, some people don't have it. I don't know. I'm sure that drives you crazy. Oh, and you too, probably, for that matter. Your attention to detail is really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine just naturally.
But
something I care about.
It's different, though, because I think before, like when you first started, if you took a photo of a honey badger and the dust cover was open, I don't think it would have, I don't think it meant anything to you. But I think now, if you were to take one, you would just be like, I got to shut it, or whatever. Just because everyone around is like, shut the fucking dust cover.
That's hopefully the culture you create, you know, to where you don't have that kind of stuff. Oh, man. Yeah. When I used to have to do all the brochures like that. And have like it's just Photoshop. There was no such thing, it was just so limited on how you could do brochures and the magazine ads and all the things.
Everything.
You kids are spoiled.
I think that's something I've seen it recently where some of this kind of stuff is coming back, whether it's advertisements in print and all that, but it's alarming that they don't have consultants. Like I've seen so many. I saw a photo recently. Dude's all kitted up, magazines are backwards in his plate carrier or whatever. Like he's a right-handed shooter and his magazines are backwards.
Every time, you know what I hate about that? I saw it at SHOT Show too on some of the booths.
Yeah.
They all, because when I first started, I would do like the dress up military pictures. We're faking it. And if you got guys that's who they were and they got their stuff and they want to do it, that's cool. For me, I like just authentic now. Yeah. But what I saw at SHOT Show that drove me crazy were those pictures where, and they put it in black and white, and I don't even remember the booth. If I did, I'd call them out. But I saw 2 different times like that at SHOT Show where they had those pictures on the side of their booth, spent thousands of dollars, and they're using guns with pistol braces.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's like, posed military pictures, and I'm just like, I hate this company now. I will never buy anything.
Anytime we fly anywhere, like even now, we'll just SBR anything. Anytime we go anywhere, whether it's an event or content, whatever, we don't even bring pistols anymore. We just SBR everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. Hey, you know what? When I first really got into guns and learned what H&K was, I remember my local gun store had an HK sticker on the door, big one. They're HK dealer.
Some men don't.
In a world of compromise, some men don't. Then HK gave in and changed it to in a world of compromise, some don't. I bet that was Wayne Weber changed that. Trying to be all politically.
PC police.
I know over here.
That was long before me.
Oh.
Yeah. We actually had a woman that worked in law enforcement sales before I started at HK.
Yeah.
Again, law enforcement sales, a woman. And she did a fairly good job. I mean, but she worked primarily with dealers. The dealers kind of did a lot of the...
Was she the one that was upset about that and they had to change it?
I don't know if it was her or if it was a lawyer. I'm not sure.
We should blame them both.
Man, we should find some of those some men don't stickers, though, because now I want
that is
one.
so.
There are plenty around. I still see them.
That's a cool one.
In a world of compromise, some men don't. And it's like, well...
You can still find T-shirts with that on.
Oh, I would love it. Maybe I'll just print them till HK sends me that cease and desist.
Yeah. Aiden will print them. They're just going to go after him.
Oh, I could.
Yeah. They'll go after him.
Get Aiden. Little bootleg HK shirts in there.
Yeah, give him some street cred.
Yeah. Or you could change the logo. In a world of compromise, some men load the magazine properly.
Oh, man. Some men don't. What's HK's slogan now?
I don't know.
We're too good for you.
Yeah.
I think they've shortened it substantially.
Yeah, I think it's shortened
to no compromise.
No compromise, yeah. It makes sense.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Better than SIGs. SIGs changed from... it was I think it's never settle now or something. Now it's never settle, but before it was when it counts or something like that. Or maybe
it was when it counts,
Yeah.
never settle. I might have come up with that when we're doing the 320 and we're talking about all the ads, and whoever, whether it was Andy York or Tom Taylor or some goober in marketing, said you never put negatives in your slogan. I remember somebody saying that to me, and I was like, okay, well, I guess they got their masters in marketing.
Yeah.
And,
Tom Taylor was at SIG?
He is now.
Yeah.
He's the one that came up when they copied the fixed rifle and they did the cross.
Oh,
He
yeah,
came up
yeah.
with this whole marketing campaign, and it's hunt like a warrior.
Oh yeah.
I was like, Tom, you should have fucking retired before you did that one, because I'm going to make fun of you till the day you're gone for
I
that.
remember when he was at Smith & Wesson.
And then
Yeah.
Mossberg. Ugh,
No compromises.
no compromises. That's good.
Oh, that's HK. Yeah.
What else? What you got on your list, H&K wise?
We talked about a lot of it.
I know, but Wayne's here right now.
Oh, the last thing that I see that we didn't even touch was fluted chambers. You talked about it, but you didn't talk about it.
So World War II. Wait, did any of you guys investigate this? World War II ends. All the German engineers and scientists disappear miraculously.
Yeah. They're
And
either here.
Hitler is still in Argentina, so we're going looking for him in July.
Yeah.
And some of them go to Spain. They start developing guns.
Some of them come here. Start NASA.
All over the place. Yeah, NASA. Yeah. Thank you, Germany.
Yeah.
NASA's cool. We developed Velcro and all kinds of cool shit.
Yeah. Velcro's right down the road.
Oh, the company?
Yeah, it's in Rochester
Did not know
or
this.
Dover or something. Yeah.
So, so the Setme rifle. So that's where the G3 comes from. That's
Correct.
the first HK gun. Yes.
Yes. Yeah, we bought the rights. HK bought the rights to the Setme.
That's a scam, man. They were running a double whammy. The Germans, they pretend to be Spanish. They sell it back to Germany.
Yeah.
So, so do that. The G3. So, what's the fluted chamber all about?
A way to optimize extraction.
Explain, Wayne.
And equalization on the case.
That's smart.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Get
yeah,
all
makes
the
sense.
way around that case, and then you can pull it out real easy.
Exactly.
Get all that pressure going at the chamber. You're pulling on one side.
There was a point
Not
where
as
you were
good.
talking about some of the old HK videos. There was a HK video sometime back where a guy loaded a P7 pistol. He actually removed the extractor, loaded the pistol, fired it, and the fluted chamber had
it
enough
out.
pressure to extract the cases. As
That's
you're
so
shooting it.
cool.
Yeah.
You may tell you another secret.
Yeah.
Ruger Mark 1, Mark 2, Mark 3. Take the extractor out, floats the case right out, ejects it. You know why on that one?
No.
Because it's a rimmed case. So you get all that pressure on it like
yeah.
a cell. So all that gas barely gets around the case in there because 22 ain't held the same.
Right.
Anyway, it gets there, hits that rim, pulls it out. So same thing there.
Yeah.
That's cool. I didn't know that with the fluted chamber, but it makes sense because you float it. Yeah, you float that
And it was
case.
scaled. The P7 9mm, G3 7.62, Big Daddy, HK GMG 40mm fluted chamber.
Really?
Yes, sir.
It was necessary. It was just it's helpful, and you guys were good at it.
Well, that was a completely different system, also.
Yeah.
But it aided in extraction as much as you needed.
They have a
extraction.
steel barrel.
It was a steel barrel, but it used advanced primary ignition, so the bolt never really locked forward. As the bolt was in the process of moving forward, that was when the primer was ignited, and then it started moving backwards. So it started moving
an
backwards
assist.
as it was going forward.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Do you think is the fluted chamber necessary in the MP5 9mm?
I don't think it's necessary because you have an extractor, but again, it's one of the things that causes that system to operate so smoothly.
Do you think it allows you, like in the MP5 SD, to be able to shoot more rounds without cleaning?
Absolutely, without doubt.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree with that.
So is the
That's cool.
extractor the same? It's just less. It's easier for the extractor to grab onto it, or is it?
Yeah,
a
it's
different
not the
extractor?
only thing doing all the work.
Okay.
Because when you flute the chamber, and Wayne, correct me if I'm wrong, but the gas comes in the chamber in those flutes.
Right, and it-
So it doesn't allow, and since it's all the way around, doesn't allow the case to expand. And so you're reducing the friction. So it basically helps to...
Yeah, slide it out.
Yeah, so it's like having a lubricated chamber.
Exactly. It keeps the case from overexpanding.
Right.
Yeah, did you know in the Browning BAR. Have you guys ever seen the original mags?
No.
I don't think so.
The Browning BAR. And I need to find mine. I got to unpack my whole archive. I have so much cool shit that I forget about. I have these original BAR mags. This mag, I don't know. It may be like worth the most out of anything I've got. Probably not. But anyway, it's the sides of the mag are cut out, probably like 80% of it, big rectangle. And then there is a little thing welded onto the mag that basically creates this little pocket on each side, and it's a piece of felt in there that's about an 1/8 inch thick, and it's soaked in oil.
Is it lubricating the magazine?
It lubricates all the rounds in the mag, so it
so they go in
feeds it. So it feeds easier, extracts easier, and so but that's like a water cooled machine gun. It's like a water cooled machine gun is totally cool because you shoot till the end of time. Like Hiram Maxim did a demo. He did a 45-minute belt. And if you keep the barrel cool, if you got a water source, you keep it cool, you can do that. And I know you can't do that if you're not cooling the barrel. And it's kind of the same thing with that. It allowed you to shoot longer with the gun being dirty. Because, I know Robert Hurt that used to work at HK, then SIG. So the kid at SIG, Adam Agri, who he taught to do demos and everything, the international demos, they would keep an oily cloth in their pocket and put all the rounds in there. And when they were doing the sand test and the dirt test, it's probably like a Robert Hurt HK trick. You put those rounds in there, and you got them all oil, and you pull them out, load your magazine, you throw the gun in the dirt, you pick it up, and that's how you're able to do. Because they're going to do their own testing, but you want to do a demo where other guns will fail, because it's all dog and pony, it's all bullshit, sleight of hand. But that's another trick. You oil the rounds up if you want them to feed, like all the Russian steel case 22 ammo for biathlons. I'm going on all kinds of tangents. I'm just remembering all this gun shit that I know. So the Russian biathlon ammo is all steel for some reason. I don't think it was just because it was cheap, but it's all packed in wax and oil. And when you load the mags, like when the guns are all frozen and everything, and it's like the guns will function better with that. So many tricks, but the original BAR mags are that way. So that's kind of like the fluted chamber, but it's so much lower maintenance. But you just got to cut the fucking chamber, which is hard to do. So how did HK do this? EDM?
It was EDM, yeah. They've always done EDM on the chambers.
Yeah, they probably had EDM for the rest of the world. Probably developed in Germany. Where was electro discharge machining developed, Thomas?
Electronic dance music.
Yeah, it's pretty good too. We need a DDR at the office, and we should have, when we do the next mystery shirt giveaway, we have everybody else in the office competing on that behind us. Be so great. I would be so horrible at that. I don't know, Wayne, you much of a dancer?
I try.
You do? Oh, I bet you're good.
Yeah, I like the slow dance with this smile, man.
No kidding. Wayne be getting girls pregnant on the dance floor. Woo! I know. We get this DDR, and I'll probably make fun of Jay, and he'll be the greatest dancer ever.
Milan?
Italy.
Italy, yeah.
Makes sense. They've been making barrels and stuff.
Good attention to detail.
Shotguns.
All right, good job, Thomas. That's about the only way to do it.
It's funny you're talking about some of the tricks doing demonstrations when we had the Benelli.
Yeah, I bet you were a tricky motherfucker.
I tried. I learned a lot of stuff from Jim.
Yeah.
When he taught me how to properly lubricate and prepare a gun for a demonstration, to include lubricating the magazine.
Yeah. Yeah, take that follower out, lube the mag body, the follower, spring, everything.
But the other thing I remember was when we demoed the Benelli shotguns, we would try to say that it was the fastest cycling shotgun. We would shoot 5 rounds, and the first ejected shell, the last round you fired would go off before the first ejected shell would hit the ground. So we would just angle eject so that it had a higher trajectory.
Fucking cheaters. That's so smart, though. Dude, who was that old dude that was always doing the Benelli demos and he died a few years ago?
Well, there were a couple of them. When I first started at HK, the demonstration shooter was a guy by the name of John Satterwhite. Several years later, it was a guy named Tom Knapp.
I think that's the guy I'm thinking of. He died.
Tom Knapp died recently,
Dude, that old dude could shoot a shotgun.
He was amazing. Amazing. He had a specially configured shotgun, Benelli shotgun that held 9 shots, and he had the world record. He could shoot at the time. He could hit 9 hand-thrown clay pigeons which is insane.
Yeah.
You had to throw them so that
You
they
could
all
get them high enough.
separated.
Yeah, and high enough.
Each one with a shot.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
separate shot. I couldn't throw 9 clay pigeons and just shoot 9 shots
That was
before they
half
hit the
of the
ground.
demo right there, throwing it so that the 9 clays
That
separated.
had to sell all of the guns.
It did.
I was gonna say I knew
it
that
was
name,
amazing.
I knew that name Tom Knapp. Growing up, I had seen him on like the Outdoor Channel or something like that.
Yeah, he
doing
was
those-
always on there.
Yeah.
doing those
Yeah.
those things. Yeah.
Now Satterwhite did some amazing demos too. I remember.
I don't really
early
remember
years,
him.
He would demonstrate the Benelli shotguns again. He had his customized guns, but this guy was just amazing. He would do this thing called playing golf, where he would throw a golf ball up. He would say, "Sometimes on a bad day, I hook it." He would hit it on this
Oh,
side,
I do
Got
know
that
him.
way.
I've seen these.
threw it up, hit it on this. Sometimes I slice it, hit it that way. But on a good day and hit it right there, that thing would go like 400 yards straight out.
Yes, I've
amazing.
seen his demos. I've seen that
Amazing.
demonstration.
With a shotgun.
Yeah,
With a shotgun.
Yeah.
with Benelli shotgun.
Yeah.
So he could just
Yeah.
hit the
Just
side.
edge it. He knew the patterns. That's
Oh,
It's
yeah.
amazing, man. I've said it before on here. I would all that old like shooting demonstrate. You know, Winchester would have a team that
Yeah,
would travel around the country. Like,
Buffalo Bill Cody's like at his,
yeah.
at his stuff. Yeah.
Annie Oakley?
Yeah.
oh, I mean, you imagine her. She would take washers and put a stamp on each side, ride on a horse standing up on a like. Who can do that anyway?
Yeah.
On a with a 22, and they would throw those in the air, and she could
Put
through
it through
the center. And there was the record she set where they had wood blocks that were like 2 inches by 2 inches or 4 by 4 or something. And she would ride on a horse standing up, and they would throw those, and she shot like 4,100 of them in a row without missing.
That's
Something like, I mean, just like the stuff that some of those people could do.
Where were they shooting at?
What's
Because they're
Tom Knapp?
shooting inside of a town at the ground and
goodness.
buildings. Yeah.
Well, Tom Knapp had this one part of his demo. This was before he started HK, but he would use a 22 rifle. He would throw up an aspirin and he would shoot.
I've seen that. I saw that on that.
Oh.
on
Yeah.
that stuff. Yeah.
I saw one the other day, a dude with a bow.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He would use those flat tips.
Well, he
Like a wad
had
cutter.
the one I saw the other day. He would be at like 25 yards or whatever,
Yeah.
and he would let water drop, and he would shoot a drop of water in the air
That's
with
insane.
an arrow. Like,
I've seen the
Jesus.
aspirin where he threw it up with or he had his wife throw it up too, and he shoot it with 22.
that's amazing.
But I think I told you, I don't know if I covered this in my last time. MP5 10 millimeter and 40 cal, one of my favorite guns ever
I
to
get that.
demonstrate. The high impulse and low impulse ammunition for that gun. We would use one magazine, a 30-round magazine, just like this, full of high impulse ammo, like 170 grain Norma, doing like 1,600 feet per second. One with low impulse ammo.
The Winchester Subsonic, I've got
Yeah,
some.
like 180 grain doing 950. And one with those same 2 types of ammunition, 3 rounds of each, alternated, 3 high, 3 low, throughout the magazine. We would load the low impulse magazine in the gun and shoot the normal cadence, a few single shots, a few bursts, and then finish up full auto.
Yeah.
Same thing with high. Then we would load the mixed magazine. 1 trigger pull, all full auto, and you would get a zip ring effect. It was awesome.
That is
awesome.
cool.
That's cool. Yeah, I used to like doing demos too. The first demo I ever did for the Army, like the big Army, it was kind of like, it was at the Rangers at Benning. And it was when, what was it? The whatever 109 SS something, the 5.56 ammo.
SS 109.
Yeah, SS 109. So we get there. They had been shooting that all day.
Mm-hmm.
And they're shooting a steel target at 100 meters. The first shot with 300 blackout with a 9-inch barrel broke the target.
Oh, my goodness.
It's like you can't ask for a better demo. You cannot. So then that's when they got all excited about a new PDW program. I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
It's a little gun that weighs like 5 pounds, everything, no recoil. And then that was even before we did the Subsonic with the silencer and shot the target. But the first round of Supersonic, I think it was the first round, maybe it was the third. Anyway, the first, let's pretend it was the first round. I think
First
it was.
magazine.
No, it was definitely the first 2 or 3 rounds,
Yeah.
but I think it was the first one. The target broke and fell apart at 100 meters. We got there in the afternoon, like the
Right,
demo
yeah.
was the next day. Oh, it's like stuff like that happens.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like, oh man, that's good living right there. But yeah, it showed the capability. Yeah, they were all, God, yeah, I forget all that stuff doing demos.
And it was a lot of fun. We would always, prep for demos And all of the gun companies would be out there. And the one guy that I would always count on to kind of be friendly was Sal Finelli from FN.
Yeah, well, Sal.
And so many times I'd be sitting on the back of that old green Bronco that Jim and I used to have, loading magazines, lubing guns, and Sal would come up, hey, you need help loading magazines? And I'd help him. But some of the other companies would be like, no, you're our adversary. You can't. Like
that's the way I am. Yeah. Like, we're competing.
Colt was really bad about that, you know.
Well, was he? Oh, that was when Sal was at FN? Because he was at Colt before that.
That was when Sal was at FN.
Yeah.
You know, you'd have guys at Colt, like maybe Rick DeMille or somebody, but they just, you know, there was always this animosity, you know.
Yeah. See, I like that to me. I mean, most people don't, but Wayne, you're such a nice man. Like, I like confrontation and being an adversary. I mean, it makes me competitive. I mean, it's like some character flaw I've got, but I don't really apologize.
Well, I didn't necessarily want them to have a bad demo. I wanted them to have a good demo because I felt like I'm going to outdo you anyway, you know. At least I want you guys to work. You did have
the advantage with HK.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll finish it up. I want to ask some questions. We'll see how honest Wayne will be. I feel like Wayne's a very honest man, but we'll see. What's the downside to the roller delayed system? The 33, the G3, the MP5. What's bad about it?
I'm not sure that there are a lot of downsides to it. Well, I would say cost of manufacturing.
Yeah,
is probably at the top of the list. Aside from that, I can't really think of a lot of negative aspects of the roller delayed system.
Yeah.
Some people have a tendency to say a little bit more recoil than a gas system.
What's the worst gun H&K ever made?
Ooh.
Off the top of my head, I probably have to say maybe UMP.
Oh, I knew he was going to say the UMP. Wayne's fucking real.